guys, this is Orsi and this is going to be This Happened in August, which when I was hinting at things in the previous one, I was hoping or I was thinking that the updates in August are gonna be much more happier, but alas, life didn't think like that, and we have some retrogrades and I'm gonna blame some of it on them, but yeah, the personal stuff is gonna be at the end of the video. So if you just care about, you know, like the one deck that I got in August, then keep on watching, but you know, you don't have to, obviously. So a lot happened in August, but mostly was personal stuff. So besides that, I only got one deck, which I talked about already in a first impression, and you know, flip through. I didn't talk in a flip through, but I talked about it in the first impression of how I got the deck, how the experience was. This is the Moonchild Tarot, the Shadow Work edition, which I love the gilding. I don't think I showed the gilding enough in the first impression. It is a beautiful deck. I haven't used yet more than the only time that I used it so far, which was to create a Hungarian video, actually, for a friend. I did a let's look into what's happening in our love life kind of spread, two of them together combined in a video, but it only worked in Hungarian, the names of the spread, so I decided to, you know, film the video, obviously anonymously, with permission, and just publish it, because why not? And I kind of enjoyed doing that, and I talked about it with Richie. I have a mosquito? What the freaking freak? Oh, okay, I'm under attack. So I talked about it in the live that I was a few days ago, more than a few days ago when you're watching this, with Richie, which you can find on my live stream playlist. That it was kind of an interesting experience, because when I started reading tarot and when I looked into tarot, I did a Hungarian course, but I didn't feel like I was connecting with the Hungarian, I don't know, style or idea of tarot reading based on the people there and based on how it was, even though I knew that this was something that, you know, I wanted to do. So I kind of gravitated towards the English speaking community and mostly people from the UK and the US, like you guys. But I don't know, there's a few Hungarian people who are subscribed to my channel or just watch some of my videos, because every now and then I get a comment in Hungarian and I'm like always like, oh, okay, you, cool. So I'm thinking about turning my second channel, which should be my reading channel, but I don't know, posting readings lately didn't really happen, even though I miss it. So I'm kind of thinking about just doing live readings on this one and turning the second channel into a Hungarian channel. It's gonna be a good excuse to talk about my decks again in Hungarian, you know, it's good for me. I can just take all the decks that I currently have, because I have a lot that I don't own anymore, and, you know, talk about them and do readings in Hungarian, maybe. I don't know. I mean, obviously I want to, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with the channel, and I don't make promises, even not to myself, because, you know, I don't want to be like, yes, I'm gonna do that, and then life happens and I won't have time, or there's gonna be something else that I want to focus on. So I'm toying with the idea, but not certain. Nothing is in concrete, which I think after 2020, we, at least in the spiritual community, we learned kind of that having plans is nice, but being open and flexible about the changes that are happening is more important, at least, you know, for me. But that's another thing that I was, ever since that Ange changed her channel's name, Roots and Wings, Roots and Waves, Wings, interesting. Roots and Waves, I was kind of feeling like I wanted to have a channel name change as well. I'm not ready to, I need to kill this mosquito. I'm ready to do that, but I'm not ready to let go of the Dragorshi, the username, because that's unique. That's mine. No one ever came up with that. And if you look at Dragorshi anywhere on the internet, you're gonna find me, or a Russian bot that claimed my Twitter when I abandoned the name. Which it's I think the account is suspended for a while now, but I tried to message Twitter once, asking for it back, but they didn't even reply, obviously. It should have been, obviously. I don't care how big the company was. I don't care. They should. Damn. Oh, you guys, I killed it. Sorry. Murder on, live on tape. But so even though they are big ones, they should have a good customer service. So whatever. But I don't know. I feel like I need to let this one go because it's not me anymore. I came up with that name when I was in my. When was it? I went from Spicy, which was because of the Spice Girls, to Dragorshi, I think when I was like 13 or 14, so 100 million years ago. And it was my identity, online identity for so long. So I'm not saying it's easy to let go, but it's not as hard as I would think because I don't think it's me anymore, not even online. And I know it's just username, who cares? But we define ourselves with a bunch of things, or we express ourselves with names and usernames and display names. So I just have to decide or see if I'm okay with someone else suddenly using the name, because a bot is going to claim an account name that has been used. So that's gonna happen. But right now I kind of feel like I'm gonna be okay with someone else is using it. But I haven't found a new name exactly yet. I have a few ideas, and maybe by the time that I'm posting this video, I'm already gonna settle on a name. I already changed the display name once, and you can only change it within 14 days twice, so I don't want to rush into it. But what I started to say was, ever since I saw Ange changing hers, I kind of knew that I wanted something and something like Roots and Waves, or is that her channel name now? I'm totally confused. Uh, so when I was thinking about the two things. So why I'm explaining it is that if you have any idea, please share it. And even if I change the name, I can just change it again. What I want is, I'm an airhead. Air signs are very heavy in my chart, which is over there somewhere. But in the past year especially, I kind of felt like I really needed to ground myself. I need to find a way to connect with the raw power of the earth more. And this feeling is what I'm looking for, but I couldn't find it yet. But what I was thinking, that bones maybe would be a nice part of it. Bones and stars. I'm not entirely sold on the stars part. Maybe sparkles, because I want a positive aspect of the air signness in me, because I don't want the overthinking, I don't want the just living in my head aspect of the name. So I want something that would ground me, like a stone and star. A stone star. That would be different. But I want something that I can connect with, because there were names like what was the one? Earthly star or something like that. But that's not me. I'm not I don't think about myself as like a star or a light worker or anything like that. I don't feel like I'm connecting with those ideas. So that's why I'm not entirely sold on the stars part either, even though that's Aquarius. So if you have any name ideas, please do let me know. Even if it's a completely different idea, if you just have something, a name that would combine the earth element and the air element in a good way, in a positive way, and not in a grandiose and over the top way, then please do let me know, because I'm looking for a name. Because even before everything happened in my relationship, which is not my relationship anymore, I kind of felt like I closed up a big cycle, my first big actually. Like I felt like I went through the whole major arcana and I arrived at the word and I'm closing off a cycle. That's very, very heavily still feel that feeling. And what happened accelerated that feeling as well. So that's one of the reasons why I'm changing things. I'm changing up my room. That's why the mess is here, because I got a new bed and stuff like that. But I want something different. But I'm at that moment or space, liminal space between the word and the fool, or between the magician, because not even between the magician, between the word and between becoming the fool again. To just, I mean, in this space where I'm not in, I'm not saying I lost my purpose, because that's not true. I just feel like what I thought that was my purpose in life integrated into my life and into my personality, and now there's space there to figure out something more, something new. And I'm not saying it's an easy place to be, especially for me, but it's not as scary or hard as I thought that it would be. I would like to, start the new journey, obviously, have goals and have ideas in my mind where to go next, but I need to learn, and maybe this is the last lesson in this previous cycle, to learn to be okay in the uncertainty in this way, to have hopes and dreams and not dwell into the negativity, just exist and wait for what's coming next while working on issues, of course, because I'm not saying that because I went through the whole cycle thing that now I know everything. Obviously not. I just know more and I have tools that I can use more than I had previously. So hence the channel's name. I don't know what I want to do. I mean, I still want to continue creating content that I did with my channel, obviously, but I want to focus on more on the deck that I started I don't even know, last September, October, so maybe a year ago. I started the collage deck, which I really want. I have a few cards that are ready, I would say, but a bunch that I haven't even started. So I want to definitely go back to that, to my novel. I need to edit it and get over myself and stand it out, because we made a promise with Sarah, and that was maybe Regina as well. So this is a reminder, if you guys are watching it, we made a promise that we would send out our drafts, or at least make a step forward in our writing journey, and mine is to send out a draft. So in 2023, and there's not a lot of months left, so I need to go through with all the suggestions Nancy was giving me, because she was so kind to edit. I can't remember if it was the first and the second, or just the first, but there was a lot, and I need to get over myself and sit down, read her suggestions, and edit as much as I can, and then start sending it out, because if I don't do that, I don't have a chance to get it published, and I want that. And I think the story is good enough to be published. There are so many awful books that gets published. Mine is good or better. So of course it's not as good as the book that I'm currently still reading. So nice segue into the next section, which is the books that I'm reading, because I kind of want to talk about books. I'm finishing off the Throne of Glass series, and I know that everybody is all over the place for the Court of Flames. Is that the other one? But that's more on the romance side, and I'm currently, I don't know if I want to read that, to be honest, or I wasn't even sure before everything happened. Maybe I should. Maybe this is how I, balance things out. Maybe I should. Maybe I will, because I really enjoy her writing. And I'm trying to. Is Sarah J. Maas, I think, her name. And I love the fantasy element, and this is the sixth or it's the seventh book. So it's a 7-book series, and I'm in the 60%, according to my Kindle, the last book. And I held back not buying the books, because I don't buy anything that I haven't read anymore, because, you know, I bought a few series when I was like, oh, the first 2 books were amazing, I'm gonna buy it and it's gonna be awesome. The last book completely ruined it for me, so I'm not doing that anymore. But I also not sure if I'm gonna buy it, to be honest, because it's such a grandiose and big story, and it's an amazing story. So don't get me wrong, I will forever recommend this one, and I'm very glad that someone in the community recommended her books and the Folk of Air series to me, because I love both of them. But because it's such a long and big story, I might never read it again. So I don't know, I haven't decided yet if I want to invest in it, because ever since Book Depository is no more, it's not as easy to get books, English books, English editions of books, because I could get the Hungarian one, but I'm not gonna read that. So I don't know, you know, if I want the hassle and the money and whatever. What I would love to do is walk into a used bookstore somewhere in England and pick up a copy of the series, because that's, I don't know, I have a thing for used books. I want the Stephen King Dark Tower series in used books format, and maybe this one as well. But yeah, I really enjoy it. So I have a few books lined up after that, which I will start in September. I bought the, and I'm just looking at the Stolen Air from, oh god, Holly Black, which I still haven't read, and I managed to buy the English book, so English version of the book, the original one. But I was just happy to see it in a bookstore, and I was like, oh, okay, bought it and didn't feel like reading it. But maybe I'm gonna, you know, switch over to that one after this one, and then, you know, recommend me fantasy, YA, or not YA necessarily, but I don't care, I love those series with, if you read the Folk of Air, the Raymond Boys, and the Throne of Glass, then you know what I'm looking for. So if you have anything else to recommend, please do so. And I think this is the end. I'm looking around if I have anything else left to mention, but I don't think so. This is the end of the non-personal kind of part of things. So let's delve into how I am not in a relationship anymore, and I was, so which I didn't talk about it because, you know, everything was new, and I didn't want, I wasn't sure if there was something to talk about. Previous month I thought, obviously, and there is stuff to talk about, but when I'm filming this, a week ago we had a conversation which ended with us ending things between us like that, because turns out he couldn't see himself falling in love with me, which, you know, it sucks. I'm not gonna say it doesn't. It's not a nice thing to hear, that someone tells you that, hey, I regard you as a nice person, as a good person, and I definitely want to see you naked a lot, but I don't see a potential for a future together. It's not nice to hear, especially because turns out I started to have feelings for him. I didn't know. So, you know, I was the one left with mourning the relationship more, even though it wasn't a long one. It wasn't such a big relationship. I don't want to downplay that thing, because it was my first official relationship, and obviously there was a lot of news, a lot of firsts with him, but I know that, you know, compared to a marriage broken up or a year-long when you're fall in love with each other, it's different, obviously. But, you know, for me it was the first one, and I don't regret it at all. He's not a bad person. It's not his fault he couldn't see himself falling in love with me. Obviously it sucks, because I could have, but in a sense, even though I miss having him as like being there means being the option or the feeling that I have someone. I know, of course, I know that there were things that I was settling unconsciously, obviously, but after a while it would have been a problem for me as well. So it's not like if we could have got over Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde, then everything would have been awesome, because I don't know, it wasn't the right time for us for sure. It started nicely. It was like, I would say, a good start for a relationship, but things happened that broke the rhythm, and we both try to communicate differently and deal with certain things differently, and unfortunately not communicating with each other about it. So obviously I learned a lot from it, but yeah, I was hoping that but because I went through all the shit in my life, that I would find someone immediately. But at the same time, it was my own fault as well, because when I decided to actually get over myself and date, and I did online dating because I don't know, I find it easier if you have a chance to at least be sure that the other person that you're talking to is interested in the prospect of going on a date. It's easier than just to talk to someone and hope that they are a good person, good enough to go and meet them. What I wanted to say was, when I decided to do that in April, I started, I registered and whatever in April. I just told myself that I won't have big expectations, and then I will be just happy if I have just something that, I can just have a preview of a relationship. That is setting yourself up for failure. Obviously, I shouldn't worded it like that. I should have just full on admit or realize, not even admit, because at that time, I didn't think that I definitely want a relationship. I was open to just having experiences, but now I know that if I want something, I want it to be an actual one. I want partnership. I want someone to talk to feel like I matter to them, and not question certain things that I did. And I don't want to be, too specific, but I knew that when I was making a decision about doing something or not doing something, I always checked with myself to if I'm doing it for him or if I'm doing it for myself. And at least I can be honestly sitting here and say that I did everything that I wanted to for myself. Obviously, I thought that I was doing certain things the way he needed it. Turns out I was wrong, which sucks, especially because the cards that I pulled for the year ahead spread. I did one at the end of last year, and I pulled one for the Sabbats, which I really like. I like this system a lot more than just pulling one card for each month. I had when I started, dating, and when we met, I had the Ace of Cups. When that certain things happened, which could have changed things for like a different way or different ending or result, that was the Ace of Pentacles, and now I'm in the Ace of Wands. So it kind of sucks to know that with the Ace of Wands, it's not the fiery element coming into a relationship, it's actually getting over a relationship. And I know, new beginnings and everything. And I'm not saying I'm never gonna date again. Of course, I will try to find someone. It's just not currently, not immediately. There are things that I need to get clear on with myself, and I'm looking forward to the new moon actually this month, because I want to set goals and get clear on what I'm looking for in a relationship because now I have more information about actually what I like and what not in certain situations. So, you know, that's good. My last weekend, previous weekend wasn't that good, but I think I honestly handled it, the first week at least, handled it much better than I would have a few years ago. I did a lot of journaling. I mean, I wrote a letter to him, I burned it, blah blah blah, you know, ritualistically let go of the relationship. I was lucky because he was open to communicating about my questions when we finished. So, you know, we didn't finish it in a way that we're never going to see each other again, or we're never going to speak to each other again. And when I reached out to him and I said certain things, that tiny bit hoping that it would change things, but he was very nice about it, and, you know, sorry about it, but it didn't. With that, I got answers and I got closure, which a lot of people don't get. As I'm surrounded with people in the office currently that are trying to get over relationships because their partner or the guys that they were, some of them wasn't even really dating, or most of them was, but those people never gave them those answers. So I'm very grateful for him that he actually indulged me in, you know, getting back to me about those answers, because now I can be like, okay, obviously I made bad decisions. He did as well. He should have communicated more as well. We kind of, you know, we had a moment of in time there where we could have connected more and we could have built on that, but both of us handled that obviously the best way we thought possible, but it wasn't good for the connection. So at least now I know that, you know, I did my best. It wasn't enough. There were things that were missing, that because of certain things. This is life. Hopefully by the time the next one comes, I will be better at communicating how I feel about certain things, because that was a really interesting thing to learn about myself, that I always knew that I was a good listener. That's why I love tarot as well, because it's kind of like listening to information, listening to people, and then giving them advice. And I'm good at it. I'm good at listening. I'm good at creating an environment where people open up, and I'm proud of myself for it. This was something that I was told when I was in high school, even though in high school I gave horrible advices, like thinking back, obviously, but you know, you do your best. But that was just kind of like one thing that I felt like, oh, this is good. This is a good thing about me, because I spent my teenage years hating myself, obviously. But that was something that I could admit to myself that, hey, I might be good at it. And that was something that I carried on. And now I do think that I'm very good at listening to people and giving them advice, now with tarot even more so. But it also means that I need someone who would create that environment for me and get those emotions and feelings and thoughts out of me, because I'm not good at sharing them easily. And I guess we both were not, because he wasn't the right person for me in this sense, because when he asked, well, you know, what are you thinking, I wasn't really thinking when he was asking. I was just feeling it, but I couldn't, you know, like articulate. So those conversations didn't happen that could have brought us together or closer. So I need to find a way to be more open about those feelings and just communicating. And because it wasn't like I felt something or I was thinking something and I decided not to share it. It was more about, I was just in the moment and I was just in my feelings, which is a new place for me because I live my life in my head. So I didn't have anything that I could have articulated. But if there is someone who's more in tune with how I need to be communicated with, maybe they could have asked questions that would have prompted me to open up, because I'm the one who, you know, creates these spaces and quiet and acceptance or whatever, where other people can open up. The same doesn't work for me. I don't talk to feel the silence, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. I know, welcome to the therapy with myself. So hopefully it's not too, you know, annoying or, I don't know, frustrating or whatever. But yeah, so the relationship is no more. And with that came back a lot of feelings that I felt before, but I pushed them aside because I had a place to go where I didn't need to feel them. So that's one of the things that probably this wasn't the right relationship, because I'm fully admitting, and I told him as well when we talked, that I used him, meeting him, part of it, as an escapism for sure, you know, because it was just nice to be somewhere else where I didn't have to think about problems. I just had to enjoy the moment. That was new thing, and it was a better way to escape, you know, the problems than I would have chosen previously. But one of the reasons is that I don't feel good or at home in my space, in my room anymore. And yes, I just got a new bed, and I'm rearranging things to open certain possibilities up for myself. But the frustrating feeling that this is not where I want to be, or I'm not going to use big words like should be, because I am where I should be. I'm here to experience these things, but I would like to start something really new, but you know, limitations. So I have to work on not limiting, at least myself, in a sense of what I'm thinking and what I'm wishing, what I'm hoping, because then I can hopefully work on finding these opportunities, because I have to believe that if I don't feel at home somewhere, it means that there is some other place where I would feel. So, you know, big things, I would say. But yeah, I think this is all for August. September is gonna be interesting. I have more responsibilities at work currently, because a friend of mine who is another head of our department, because no such thing. There are 3 people who do the same job at our company, and she's the most with the most seniority, in a sense, because she knows the most. She is there for the longest, so you know, she knows everything better than us, the remaining 2. But she's on 3 weeks holiday, so I'm as the second now. I need to step up and do things that I didn't do before, so it's quite annoying already. I mean, like, can't wait for her to come back. So it's gonna be more stressful with work because of that. But I will go to my first Kung Fu. Is it how you say it in English as well? Kung Fu practice on Monday. By the time this post, I went, and we will see if I can survive that, because I kind of felt like I guess it's normal. After something is ending, you want a new beginning, and that seemed like a good way to channel my feelings into some physical activity, because I'm really out of shape, like not even funny. So I want to do that. We will see if I will stick with it. It will be cool. I want to go and have some experiences as well, which I don't want to mention yet, because you know, if it doesn't happen, then it's just a setup, hopefully. But you know, things are gonna happen. I kind of feel like it's gonna be a busy month, but we will see. We will see the next one when I film one. Hopefully it's not gonna be a bad one. But I think I just reached that point in my life where you know what? And I told this to my friend the other day, that I'm done with learning lessons the hard way. from now on, I would appreciate if could be life and universe and higher ups would be on board with it. I want to learn lessons through good experiences, because I don't just want to learn why certain things suck and how I can be a stronger person because of them. I want to learn how to enjoy things, how to be happy, how to feel whole, how to feel loved. And you can't learn those things if you're just losing people or you're missing out on things. So hopefully life is gonna be on board with it, and I will have more positive experiences where I can learn things. We will see. I don't feel like it's a setup, but you never know. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was, I don't know, insightful into my psyche. It was a therapy session for me as well. But yeah, this is going to hopefully clear out and get, I will need to find a new spot to film as well, because yeah, currently my desk isn't set up the way it will be, because I have what is it called, a bookshelf currently here that I can use as a holder for the iPad, but it's gonna be not here. So maybe I'm gonna film on my bed, but this is gonna be next to it. Maybe you will see. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna sit on my bed. We'll see. But yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.